welcome to the 14th production of Integrated Studies playing Shakespeare. Hopefully by now you know that the name of the play is All's Well That Ends Well. And before we begin, I have a few housekeeping items to let you know. The bathrooms are out each door and around the back, but the women's bathroom is apparently out of order, in which case there are bathrooms in the Arboretum. Real, actual, working, flushing bathrooms, not the Arboretum. And intermission will last as long as the lines, so don't worry, you will have time. A few other notes are that please, no flash photography. We know your children are beautiful and they're doing a great job, but we also don't want to distract them. And most importantly, please, silence your cell phone. No, turn off your cell phones. Do not put them on vibrate. We can hear that. Do not put them on silent and then text. We can see that. And if we can see that, so can your children. And while they are doing a phenomenal job, they are still amateurs, and we don't want to give them any unneeded distractions. So please, I'll give you a free grace period right now. Just turn off your cell phones. Oh, okay, all right. Oh, really? Really? Grace period over, sir. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
How's it going? Yeah, that's great. I'm all right. What do you mean, why am I all right? My friggin' dad died, you idiot. Yeah. The old broad's shipping me off to Paris tomorrow. Yeah, I'm totally ready to get down tonight. Yeah, totally. Don't buy any of that shitty freaking light beer. I don't want no Bud Light. Yeah. Get something good. Totally. Oh, shit, I gotta get my feet.
In delivering my son from me, I bury a second husband.
And I am going, madam, weep o'er my father's death anew. But I must attend his majesty's command, who am now, in ward, evermore, in subjection.
You shall find of the king a husband, madam, you, sir, a father. He that so generally is at all times good, must of necessity hold his virtue to you, whose worthiness would stir it up where it wanted, rather than lack it where there is such abundance.
What hope is there of his majesty's amendment?
He hath abandoned his physicians, madam, under whose practices he hath persecuted time with hope, and finds no other advantage but only the losing of hope by time.
This young gentlewoman had a father. Oh, that had, how sad a passage 'tis, whose skill was almost as great as his honesty. Had it stretched so far, would have made nature immortal, and death should have play for lack of work. Would, for the king's sake, he were living, I think it would be the death of the king's disease.
How called you the man you speak of, madam?
He was famous, sir, in his profession, and it was his great right to be so. Gerard de Narbonne.
He was excellent indeed, madam. The king very lately spoke of him, admiringly and mourningly. He was skillful enough to have lived still, if knowledge could be set up against immortality.
What is it, my good lord, the king languishes of?
A fistula, my lord.
I heard not of it before.
I would it were not notorious. Is this gentlewoman the daughter of Gerard de Narbonne?
His sole child, my lord, and bequeathed to my o'erlooking. I have those hopes of her good that her education promises. Her dispositions she inherits, which makes fair gifts fairer. For where an unclean mind carries virtuous qualities, there commendations go with pity, for they are virtues, and traitors too. In her they are the better for their simpleness. She derives her honesty, and achieves her goodness.
Your commendations, madam, get from her tears.
'Tis the best brine a maiden conceives in her praising. The remembrance of her father never approaches her heart, but the tyranny of her sorrows takes all livelihood from her cheek. No more of this, Helen. Go to, no more. Lest it be thought you affect a sorrow, rather than
I do affect a sorrow indeed.
but I have it too.
Moderate lamentation is the right of the dead. Excessive grief, the enemy to the living.
If the living be enemy to the grief, the excess soon makes it mortal.
Madam, I desire your holy wishes.
How understand we that?
Be thou blessed, Bertram, and succeed thy father in manners as in shape. Be able for thine enemy rather than power than use, and keep thy friend under thy own life's key. Be checked for silence, but never taxed for speech. What heaven more will, that thee may furnish, and my prayers plucked down, fall on thy head. Farewell, my lord. Good my lord, 'tis an unseasoned courtier, advise him.
He cannot want the best that shall attend his love.
Farewell, Bertram.
May the best wishes that can be forged be servants to you. Be comfortable to my mother, your mistress, and make much of her.
Farewell, pretty lady, you must hold the credit of your father.
Oh, were that all? I think not on my father. And these great tears grace his remembrance more than those I shed for him. What was he like? I have forgot him. My imagination carries in it no favor. But Bertram's, I am undone. There's no living, none. If Bertram be away, 'twere all one that I should love a bright particular star and think to wed it. He's so above me. In his bright radiance and collateral light must I be comforted, not in his sphere. The ambition in my love thus plagues itself. The hind that would be mated by the lion must die for love. 'Twas pretty, though a plague, to see him every hour, to sit and draw his arched brow, his hawking eye, his curls, in our heart's table, heart too capable of every line and trick of his sweet favor. But now he's gone, and my idolatrous fancy must sanctify his relics. Who comes here? One that goes with him. I love him for his sake, and yet I know him a notorious liar, think him a great way fool, solely a coward. Yet these fixed evils sit so fit in him that they take place when virtue's steely bones looks bleak in the cold wind. Withal, full oft we see cold wisdom waiting on superfluous folly.
Save you, fair queen.
And you, monarch.
No.
And no.
Are you meditating on virginity?
Aye. You have some stain of soldier in you. Let me ask you a question. Man is enemy to virginity. How may we barricade it against him?
Keep him out.
But he assails, and our virginity, though valiant in the defense, yet is weak. Unfold to us some warlike resistance.
There is none. Man setting down before you will undermine you and blow you up.
Bless our poor virginity from underminers and blowers up. Is there no military policy how virgins might blow up men?
Virginity being blown down, man will quickly be blown up. Mary, in blowing him down again, with the breach yourselves made you lose your city. It is not politic in the commonwealth of nature to preserve virginity. Loss of virginity is rational increase, and never was virgin got till virginity was first lost. That you are made of is metal to make virgins. Virginity, by being once lost, may be 10 times found. By being ever kept, it is ever lost. 'Tis too cold a companion. Away with it.
I will stand for it a little, though therefore I die a virgin.
There's little can be said in it. 'Tis against the rule of nature. To speak on the part of virginity is to accuse your mother, which is most infallible disobedience. He that hangs himself is a virgin. Virginity murders itself and should be buried in highways out of all sanctified limit as a desperate offendress against nature. Virginity breeds mites, much like a cheese, consumes itself to the very paring, and so should be fed, and so dies with feeding his own stomach. Besides, Virginity is peevish, proud, idle, made of self-love, which is the most inhibited sin in the canon. Keep it not. You cannot choose but lose by it. Out with it! Within the year, it will make itself too, which is goodly increase, and the principle, not much the worse. Away with it!
How might one do, sir, to lose it to her own liking?
Let me see. Mary, ill to like him that ne'er it likes. 'Tis a commodity will lose the gloss with wine. Off with it while 'tis vendible. Answer the time of request. Virginity is like an old courtier who wears her cap out of fashion, richly suited but unsuitable, much like the brooch and toothpick wear not now. Your date is better in your pie and your porridge than in your cheek. Your virginity, your old virginity, is like one of our French withered pears. If looks ill, it eats dryly. Mary, 'tis a withered pear. It was formerly better. Mary, yet 'tis a withered pear. Will you anything with it?
Not my virginity yet. There shall your master have 1,000 loves, a mother, a mistress, and a friend, a phoenix, a captain, and an enemy, a guide, a goddess, and a sovereign. His humble ambition, proud humility, jarring concord, and his discord dulcet, his faith, his sweet disaster, in a world of pretty, fond, adoptuous Christendoms that blinking Cupid gossips. Now shall he, I know not what he shall. God sent him well. The court's a learning place, and he is one that—
What's one? A faith.
that I wish well. 'Tis pity.
What's pity?
That wishing well had not a body in it, which might be felt. That we, the poorer born, whose baser stars do shut us up in wishes, might with effects of them follow our friends, and show them what we alone must think, which never returns us thanks.
Monsieur Paroles, my lord calls for you.
Little Helen, farewell. If I can remember thee, I will think of thee at court.
Monsieur Paroles, you were born under a charitable star.
Under Mars,
I especially think under Mars.
Why, under Mars?
The wars have so kept you under, you must needs be born under Mars.
When he was predominant.
When he was retrograde, I think rather.
Why think you so?
You go so much backwards when you fight.
That's for advantage!
So is running away when fear poses a safety. But the virtue that your valor and fear makes in you is a composition of a good wing, and I like the word well.
I am so full of business I cannot answer thee acutely. I will return perfect courtier, in the which my instruction shall serve to naturalize thee, so thou wilt be capable of a courtier's counsel, and understand what advice shall thrust upon thee, else thou diest in thine unthankfulness, and thine ignorance make thee away. When thou hast leisure, say thy prayers. When thou hast none, remember thy friends. Get thee a good husband, and use him as he uses you. So, farewell!
Our remedies often ourselves do lie, which we ascribe to heaven. The fated sky gives us free scope. Only doth backward pull our slow designs when we ourselves are dull. What power is it which mounts my love so high, that makes me see but cannot feed mine eye? The mightiest space and fortune nature brings to join like likes and kiss like native things. Impossible be strange attempts to those that weigh their pains in sense, and do suppose what hath been cannot be. Whoever strove to show her merit that did miss her love? The king's disease. Though my project may deceive me, my intents are fixed and will not leave me.
Florentines and Sonoys are by the ears, have fought with equal fortune, and continue a braving war.
So 'tis reported, sir.
Nay, 'tis most credible. We here receive it as certainty, vouched from our cousin Austria, that the Florentine will move us for speedy aid, wherein our friend prejudicates the business and would seem to have us make denial.
His love and wisdom, approved so to your majesty, may plead for amplest credence.
He hath armed our answer, and Florence is denied before he comes. Yet for our gentlemen that mean to see the Tuscan service, freely had they leave to stand either part.
It may well serve a nursery to our gentry who are sick for breathing and exploit.
What's he comes here?
It is the Count Sicilian, my good lord, young Bertrand.
Youth thou bear'st thy father's face. Frank nature, rather curious and in haste, hath well composed thee. Thy father's moral parts may thou adheres to. Welcome to Paris.
My thanks and duty are your majesty's.
I would I had that corporal soundness now was when thy father and myself in friendship first tried our soldiership. He did look far into the service of the time and was discipled of the bravest. He lasted long, but on us both did age still on and wore us out of act. It much repairs me to talk of your good father. In his youth he had a wit which I can well observe today in our young lords, but they may jest till their scorn returns to them unnoted, ere they can hide their levity and honor. So like a courtier, contempt nor bitterness were in his pride nor sharpness. If they were, his equal had awaked them, and his honor, flocked to itself, knew the true minute when exception bid him speak, and at this time his tongue obeyed his hand. Who were below him he used as creatures of another place, and bowed his eminent top to their low ranks, making them proud of his humility, and their poor praise he humbled. Such a man might be a copy to these younger times, which, followed well, would demonstrate them now, but goers backward.
His good remembrance, sir, lies richer in your thoughts than on his tomb. So in a proof lives not his epitaph as in your royal speech.
Would I were with him, he would always say, methinks I hear him now, his applause of words he scattered not in ears but grafted them to grow there and to bear. Let me not live! This his good melancholy oft began on the catastrophe and hill of past time when it was out. Let me not live, quoth he, when my flame lacks oil, to be the snuff of younger spirits, whose apprehensive senses all but new things disdain, whose judgments are mere fathers of their garments, whose constancies expire before their fashions. This he wished. I after him do after him wish to. Since I nor wax nor honey could bring home, I quickly were dissolved from my hive to give some laborers room.
Your love, sir, they that least lended you shall lack you first.
I fill a place, I know it. How long is Count since the physician at your father's died?
Some 6 months since, my lord.
If he were living, I would try him yet. He was much famed. Lend me an arm. The rest have worn me out. Nature and sickness debated at their leisure. Welcome, Count. My son's no dear.
Thank your majesty.
For then we wound our modesty and make foul the clearness of our deservings when of ourselves we publish them.
What does this knave here? Get you gone, sirrah. The complaints I've heard of you I do not all believe. 'Tis to my slowness that I do not, for I know you lack not folly to commit them, and have ability enough to make such knaveries yours.
'Tis not unknown to you, madam. I am a poor fellow.
Well, sir.
No, madam, 'tis not so well that I am poor, though many of the rich are damned. But if I may have your ladyship's goodwill to go to the world, Isabel the woman and I will do as we may.
Wilt thou needs be a beggar?
I do beg your goodwill in this case.
In what case?
In Isabel's case and mine own. Service is no heritage, and I think I shall never have the blessing of God till I issue my own body, for they say, Barons are blessings.
Tell me thy reasons why thou wilt marry.
My poor body, madam, requires it. I am driven on by the flesh, and he must needs go that the devil drives.
Is this all your worship's reason?
Faith, madam, I have other holy reasons, such as they are.
May the world know them.
I have been, madam, a wicked creature, as you and all flesh and blood are. And indeed I do marry that I may repent.
Thy marriage sooner than thy wickedness.
I'm out of friends, madam, and I hope to have friends for my wife's sake.
Such friends are thine enemies, knave.
You're shallow, madam, in great friends, for the knaves come to do that for me which I am weary of. He that ears my land spares my team, and gives me leave to in the crop. If I be his cuckold, he is my drudge. He that comforts my wife is the cherisher of my flesh and blood. He that cherishes my flesh and blood loves my flesh and blood. He that loves my flesh and blood is my friend. Ergo, he that kisses my wife is my friend. If man could be contented to be what they were, there'd be no fear in marriage. For young Charbon the Puritan and old Poison the Papist, howsoever their hearts are severed in religion, their heads are both one, and they may jowl horns together like any deer of the herd.
Wilt thou ever be a foul-mouthed and calumnious knave?
A prophet, I, madam, and I speak the truth the next way. For as thou wilt repeat, which mantle you shall find. Your marriage comes by destiny, your cuckoo seems by kind.
Get you gone, sir. I'll speak with you more anon.
May it please you, madam, that he bid Helen come to you. Of her I am to speak.
Sirrah, tell my gentlewoman I would speak with her. Helen, I mean.
With this face the cause was she, while the Grecians sacked Troy. Fawn, don, don, fawn, with this King Priam's joy. With that she sighed as she stood, with that she sighed as she stood, and gave the sentence then, among nine bad if one be good, among nine bad if one be good, there's yet one good in 10.
What? 1 good in 10? You corrupt the song, Sirrah.
1 good woman in 10, madam, which is a purifying of the song. Would God would serve the world so all the year. We'd find no fault with the tithe woman if I were the parson. 1 in 10, quotha? And we might have a good woman born, but or a blazing star at an earthquake. 'Twould mend the lottery well. A man may draw his heart out ere pluck 1.
You'll be gone, sir knave, and do as I command thee.
That man should be at woman's command, and yet no hurt done. Though honesty be no Puritan, yet it will do no hurt. It will wear the surplice of humility over the black gown of a big heart. I am going, forsooth. The business is for Helen to come hither.
Well now.
Madam, I know you love your gentlewoman entirely.
Faith, I do. Her father bequeathed her to me, and she herself, without other advantage, may lawfully make title to as much love as she finds. There is more owing her than is paid, and more shall be paid her than she'll demand.
I was very late more near her than I think she would have wished me. Alone she was, and did communicate her own words to her own ears. I dare vow for her she thought they touched no stranger sense. Her matter was she loved your son. Fortune, she said, was no goddess that had put such difference betwixt their two estates. Love no god that would not extend his might only where qualities were equal. Diana, no queen of virgins that would suffer her poor knight surprised without rescue in the first assault, or ransom afterward. This she delivered with the most bitter touch of sorrow that e'er I heard virgin exclaiming, which I held my duty speedily to acquaint you withal. In the loss that may happen, it concerns you something to know it.
You have discharged this honestly. Keep it to yourself. Many likelihoods informed me of this before, which hung so tottering in the balance that I could neither believe nor misdoubt. Pray you leave me. Stall this in your bosom, and I thank you for your honest care. I will speak with you further anon. Even so, it was with me when I was young. If ever we are nature's, these are ours. This thorn doth to our rose of youth rightly belong, our blood to us. This to our blood is born. It is the show and seal of nature's truth, where love's strong passion is impressed in youth. By our remembrances of days forgone, such were our faults, or then we thought them none. Her eye is sick on it, I observe her now.
What is your pleasure, madam?
You know Helen. I am a mother to you.
Mine honorable mistress.
Nay, a mother. Why not a mother? When I said a mother, I thought you saw a serpent. What's in mother that you start at it? I say I am your mother, and put you in the catalog of those that were enwombed mine. 'Tis often seen adoption strive with nature, and choice breeds a native slip to us from foreign seas. You ne'er oppressed me with a mother's groan, yet I express to you a mother's care. God mercy, maiden! Does it curd thy blood to say I am thy mother? What's the matter? This tempered messenger of wet, and many-colored iris rounds thine eye. Why?
That you are my daughter. That I am not.
I say I am your mother.
Pardon, madam. The Count Rusilian cannot be my brother. I am from humble, he from honored name. No note upon my parents, his all noble. My master, my dear lord he is, and I his servant live, and will his vassal die. He must not be my brother.
Nor I, your mother.
You are my mother, madam. Would you were so that my lord your son were not my brother. Indeed, a mother, I care no more for than I do for heaven, so that I were not his sister. Can't no other, but I, your daughter, he must be my brother.
Yes, Helen, you might be my daughter. In law, God shield you need it not. Daughter and mother so strive upon your pulse. What, pale again? My fear hath catched your fondness. Now I see the mystery of your loneliness, and find your saltier's head. Now, to all sense, 'tis gross. You love my son. Invention is a shame against the proclamation of thy passion, to say thou dost not. Therefore, tell me truly. But tell me then 'tis so. For look, thy cheeks confess it, the one to the other, and thine eyes see it so grossly shown in thy behaviors, that in their kind they speak it. Only sin, and how much obstinacy tie thy tongue, the truth should be suspect. Speak, if so. If it be so, you have wound a goodly clue. If it be not, forswear it. However I charge thee, as heaven shall work in me for thine avail, to tell me truly.
Good madam, pardon me.
Do you love my son?
Your pardon, noble mistress.
Love you, my son?
Do not you love him,
Go
madam.
not out. My love hath entered a bond where the world takes note. Come, come, disclose the state of your affection, or your passions have to the full appeached.
Then I confess here on my knee before high heaven and you, that before you and next unto high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor but honest, so's my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved of me. I follow him not by any token of presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Yet never know how that desert should be. I know I love in vain, strive against hope. Yet in this captious and untenable sieve I still pour in the waters of my love, and lack not to lose still. Thus Indian-like, religious in mine air, I do adore the sun that looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more. Dearest madam, let not your hate encounter with my love, for loving where you do. But if yourself, whose aged honor cites in it a virtuous youth, ever did in so true a flame of liking, wish chastely and love dearly, that your Diane was both herself and love, oh, then give pity to her whose state is that she cannot choose but lend and give where she is sure to lose, that seeks not to find that her search implies, but riddle-like lives sweetly where she dies.
Had you not lately an intent, speak truly, to go to Paris?
Madame, I had.
Wherefore, tell truth.
I will tell truth, by grace itself I swear. You know my father left me some prescriptions of rare and proved effects, such as his reading and manifest experience had collected for general sovereignty, and that he bade me, in heedfulest reservations, to bestow them as notes whose faculties inclusive were more than they were in note. Amongst the rest, there is a remedy, approved, set down, to cure the desperate languishings whereof the king is rendered lost.
This was your motive for Paris, was it? Speak.
My lord, your son made me to think of this, else Paris, and the medicine, and the king, had from the conversations of my thoughts happily been absent then.
But think you, Helen, if you should tender your supposed aid, that he would receive it. He and his physicians are of a mind. He that they cannot help him, they that they cannot help. How shall they credit a poor, unlearned virgin, when the schools, embelled of their doctrine, have left off the danger to itself?
There is something in it more than my father's skill, which was the greatest in his profession, that his good receipt shall for my legacy be sanctified by the luckiest stars in heaven. And would your honor but give me leave to try success, I'd venture the well-lost life of mine on his grace's cure, by such a day and hour.
Dost thou believe it?
Aye, madam, knowingly.
Why, Helen, thou shalt have my leave and love, means in attendance, and loving greetings to those of mine in court. I'll stay at home and pray God's blessing into thy attempt. Be gone tomorrow, and be sure of this, what I can help thee to, thou shalt not miss.
Farewell, young lords. These warlike principles do not throw from you. And you, my lords, farewell. Share the advice betwixt you. If both gain all, the gift doth stretch itself as 'tis received and is enough for both.
'Tis our hope, sir, after well-entered soldiers, to return and find your grace in health.
No, no, it cannot be. And yet my heart will not confess the oaths of malady that doth my life beseech. Farewell, young lords. Whether I live or die, be you the sons of worthy Frenchmen. Let's hire Italy, those baited that inherit but the fall of the last monarchy. See that you come not to woo honor, but to wed it, when the bravest questant shrinks. Find what you seek, that fame may cry you loud. I say, farewell.
Health at your bidding, serve your majesty.
Those girls of Italy, take heed of them. They say our French lack language to deny if they demand. Beware of being captives before you serve.
Our hearts receive your warnings.
Farewell. Come hither to me.
Oh, my sweet lord, that you stay behind us.
'Tis not his fault, the spark.
Oh, 'tis brave wars.
Most admirable, I have seen these wars.
I am commanded here and kept the coil with too young, and 'tis too early, and the next year.
And thy mind stand to it, boy. Steal away bravely.
I shall stay here the four-horse to a smock, creaking my shoes on the plain masonry, till no honor be bought up, and no sword worn but one to dance with. By heaven, I will steal away.
There's honor in the theft.
Committed count.
I am your accessory, and so, farewell?
I grow to you, and our parting is a tortured body.
Farewell, good captain.
Noble heroes, my sword and yours are kin. Good sparks and lustrous. A word, good metals. You shall find in the regiment of the Spini one Captain Spurio with his cicatrix, an emblem of war, here on his sinister cheek. 'Twas this very sword entrenched it. Say to him I live, and observe his reports for me.
We shall, noble captain.
Mars dote on you for his novices. What will ye do?
Say, the king!
Use a more spacious ceremony to the noble lords. You have restrained yourself within too short of the due. Be more expressive with them, for they do wear themselves within the cap of the time. There do muster 2 gates, eat, speak, and sleep under the influence of the most received star. And though the devil lead the measure, such are to be followed. After them, and take a more dilated farewell.
And I will do so.
Worthy fellows, and like to prove most sinewy swordsmen.
Pardon, my lord, for me and for my tidings.
I'll fear thee to stand up.
Then here stands a man that has brought his pardon. I would you had kneeled, my lord, so that at my bidding you could so stand up.
I would I had, so I broke thy pate and asked thee mercy for it.
Good faith across. But 'tis thus. My lord, will you be cured of your infirmity?
No.
Oh. Will you eat no grapes, my royal fox? Yes, but you will, my noble grapes. And if my royal fox could reach them. I have seen a medicine that's able to breathe life into a stone, quicken rock, and make you dance canary with sprightly fire and motion. Nay, whose simple touch is powerful to erase King Pepin. Nay, to give great Charlemagne a pen in his hand and write to her a love line.
What her is this?
Why, Dr. She, my lord, there's one arrived, if you will see here. Now, by my faith and honor, I have spoke with one that in her sex, her years, profession, wisdom, and constancy hath amazed me more than I dare blame my weakness. Will you see her? For that is her demand, and know her business? That done, laugh well at me.
Now, good Lefew, bring forth the admiration, that we with thee may take off our wonder too, or share thine.
Nay, I'll fit you, and not be all day night.
Thus he his special nothing ever prologues.
Nay, come your ways.
This haste hath wings indeed.
Nay, come your ways. This is his majesty. Say your minds to him. A traitor you do look like, but such traitors his majesty seldom appears. I am Cressid's uncle, that dare leave 2 together. Fare you well.
Now, fair one, does your business follow us?
Aye, my good lord. Gerard de Narbonne was my father. In what he did profess, well found.
I knew him.
The rather will I spare my praises towards him. Knowing him is enough. On beds of death, many receipts he gave me, chiefly one, which is the dearest issue of his practice, and of his old experience the only darling. He bade me store up as a triple eye, safer than mine own too, more dear. I have so, and hearing your high majesty is touched with that malignant cause, wherein the honor of my dear father's gift stands chief in power, I come to tender it and my appliance with all bound humbleness.
We thank you, maiden, but may not be so credulous of cure when our most learned doctors leave us. And the congregated college hath concluded that laboring art can never ransom nature from her inaidable estate. I say we must not so corrupt our hope or stain our judgment to prostitute our past cure malady to empirics, or to dissever so our great self and our credit, to esteem a senseless help when help past sense we deem.
My duty then shall pay me for my pains. I will no more enforce mine office on you, humbly entreating from your royal thoughts a modest one to bear me back again.
I cannot give thee less to be called grateful. Thou thought to help me, and such thanks I give as one near death to those that wish him live. But what a fool I know, thou know'st no part. I know in all my peril, thou know art.
What I can do no hurt to try, since you set up your rest against remedy. He that of greatest works is finisher oft does them by the weakest minister. So holy writ in babes hath judgment shown when judges have been babes. Great floods have flown from simple sources, and great seas have dried when miracles have by the greatest been denied. Oft expectation fails, and most oft there were most it promises. But oft it hits where hope is coldest and despair most fits.
I must not hear thee. Fare thee while, kind maid. Thy pains not used must by thyself be paid. Proffers not took, reap thanks for their reward.
Inspired merit so by breath is barred. It is not so with him that all things knows, as 'tis with us that swear our guess by shows. But most it is presumption in us when the help of heaven we count the act of men. Dear sir, to my endeavors give consent. Of heaven not me make an experiment. I am not an impostor that proclaim myself against the level of mine aim. But know I think and think I know most sure. My art is not past power, nor you past cure.
Art thou so confident? Within what space hopest thou my cure?
The greatest grace lending grace. Ere twice the horses of the sun shall bring their fiery torture his diurnal ring. Ere twice in murk and occidental damp moist Hesperus hath quenched her sleepy lamp. Or 24 times the pilot's glass hath told the thievish minutes how they pass. What is infirm from your sound parts shall fly. Health shall live free and sickness freely die.
Upon thy certainty and confidence, what darest thou venture?
Tax of impudence, a strumpet's boldness, a divulged shame traduced by odious ballads, my maiden's name seared otherwise. Nay, worst of worst, extended with vilest torture, let my life be ended.
Methinks in thee some blessed spirit doth speak, this powerful sound within an organ weak. And what impossibility would slay in common sense save another way. Thy life is dear, for all that life can rate, worth name of life in thee hath estimate. Youth, beauty, wisdom, courage, all that happiness in prime can happy call. Thou this to hazard needs must intimate, skill infinite or monsters desperate. Sweet practicer, thy physic I will try, that ministers thine own death if I die.
If I break time or flinch in proper time of what I spoke, unpitied let me die, and well deserved. Not helping death's my fee. But if I help, what do you promise me?
Make thy demand.
But will you make it even?
Aye, by my scepter and by my hopes of heaven.
Then shalt thou give me with thy kingly hand what husband in thy power I will command. Exempted be from me the arrogant, to choose from forth the royal blood of France, my low and humble name to propagate with any branch or image of thy state. But such a one, thy vassal whom I know is free for me to ask, thee to bestow.
Here's my hand. The premises observed, thy will by my performance shall be served. So make the choice of thine own time, for I, thy resolved patient, on thee still rely. More should I question thee, and more I must, though more to know cannot be more to trust. From whence thou camest, how tended on, but rest, undoubted welcome, and unquestioned blessed. Give me some help here, ho! If thou receive his highest word, my deed shall match thy deed.
I will show myself highly fed and lowly taught. I know my business is but to the court.
To the court? Why? What place made you special when you put off that with such contempt? But to the court.
Truly, madam, if God have lent man any manners, he may easily put it off the court. He that cannot make a leg, put off's cap, kiss his hand and say nothing, has neither legs, hand, lip, nor cap. And indeed such a trial, to say precisely, were not for the court. But for me, I have an answer that will serve all men.
Mary, that's a bountiful answer that fits all questions.
It is like the barber's chair that fits all buttocks. The pin buttock, the quatch buttock, the brawn buttock, or any buttock.
Will your answer serve fit to all questions?
As fit as 10 groces for the hand of the attorney, as your French crown for your tafty punk, as Tibbs rush for Tom's forefinger, as a pancake for Shrove Tuesday, a Morris for May Day, as a nail to his hole, as a couple to his horn, as a scolding queen to a wrangling knave, as the nun's lips to the friar's mouth, nay, as the pudding to the skin.
Have you, I say, an answer such fitness for all questions?
From below your duke to beneath your constable, it will fit any question.
It must be an answer of most monstrous size that must fit all demands.
But trifle neither, in good faith, if the learned shall speak truth of it. Here it is, and all that belong to it. Ask me if I'm a courtier, It shall do you no harm to learn.
To be young again, if we could. I will be a fool in question, hoping to be the wiser by your answer. I pray you, sir, are you a courtier?
Oh, Lord, sir! There's a simple putting off. More, 100 of them.
Sir, I am a poor friend of yours that loves you.
Oh, Lord, sir. Thick, spare not me.
I think, sir, you can eat none of this homely meat.
Oh, Lord, sir. Nay, put me to it, I warrant you.
You were lately whipped, sir, as I think.
Oh, Lord, sir. Spare not me.
You cry, "Oh Lord, sir," at your whipping, and spare not me. Indeed, your "Oh Lord, sir" is very sequent to a whipping. You would answer very well to a whipping if you were but bound to it.
I never had worse luck in my life in my "Oh Lord, sir." I see things may serve long, but not serve ever.
I play the noble housewife with the time.
Oh,
Spend it so merrily with a fool.
Oh, Lord, sir. Why, there it serves well again.
And, sir, give Helen this, and urge her to a present answer back. Commend me to my kinsman and my son. This is not much.
Not much commendation to them?
Not much employment for you. You understand me.
Most fruitfully. I am there before my legs.
Haste you again.
They say miracles are past, and we have our philosophical persons to make modern and familiar things supernatural and causeless. Thus we make trifles of terrors, ensconcing ourselves into seeming knowledge when we should submit to an unknown fear.
Why, 'tis the rarest argument of wonder that hath shot out in our latter time.
And so 'tis. To be relinquished of the arts.
So I say, both of Galen and Paracelsus.
Of all the learned and authentic fellows.
Right, so I say.
That gave him out incurable.
Why, there 'tis, so say I too.
Not to be helped.
As 'twere a man assured of a
uncertain life and sure death.
Just, you say well, so what I have said.
I may truly say it is a novelty to the world.
It is indeed. If you will have it in showing, you'll read it in, what do ye call there?
A showing of a heavenly effect in an earthly actor.
That's it, I would have said the very same.
Why, your dolphin is not lustier. For me, I speak in respect.
Nay, 'tis strange, 'tis very strange. That is the brief and tedious of it. And he is of a most fascinarious spirit, not to acknowledge it to be the very
hand of heaven.
Nay, so I say.
In a most weak and debile
Vile minister, great power, great transcendence, that should give us a further use to be made than alone the recovery of the king, as to be
generally thankful.
I would have said it. Here comes the king.
Lusty, as the Dutchman says. I'll like a maid better whilst I have a tooth in my head. Why, he's able to lead her a Caronto.
More to vinegars, not this Helen?
For God, I think so.
Go, call before me all the lords in court. Sit, my preserver, by the patient's side, and with this healthful hand, whose banished sense thou hast repealed, a second time receive confirmation of my promised gift, which but attends thy naming. Fair maid, send forth thine eye. This youthful parcel of noble bachelors stand at my bestowing, or whom both father's voice and sovereign power I have to use. Thy frank election make. Thou hast power to choose, and they none to forsake.
To each of you one fair and virtuous mistress fall when love please. Marry, to each but one.
I'd give Bay Curtal and his furniture my mouth no more revoked than these boys and Rita's little beard.
Peruse them well, not one of those had but a noble father.
Gentlemen, heaven hath through me restored the king to health.
We understand it, and thank heaven for you.
I am a simple maid, and therein wealthiest that I protest I simply am a maid. Please it your majesty, I have done already. The blushes in my cheeks thus whisper me, we blush that thou shouldest choose. But be refused, let the white death sit on thy cheek forever, we'll never come there again.
Make choice and see, who shuns thy love, shuns all his love in me.
Now, Diane, from thy altar do I fly, and to imperial love, that God most high, do my sighs stream. Sir, will you hear my suit?
And grant it.
Thanks, sir. All the rest is mute.
I had rather be in this choice than throw aimsace for my life.
The honor, sir, that flames in your fair eyes before I speak, too threateningly replies. Love make your fortunes 20 times above her that so wishes, and her humble love.
No better, if you please.
My wish receive, which great love grant, and so I take my leave.
Do all they deny her? And they were sons of mine, I'd have them whipped. Or send them to the Turk to make eunuchs of.
Sir, be not afraid that I your hand should take. I'll never do you wrong for your own sake. Blessing upon your vows, and in your bed find fairer fortune, if you ever wed.
These boys are boys of ice, though none have her. Sure they are bastards to the English, the French ne'er got them.
Sir, you are too young, too happy, and too good to make yourself a son out of my blood.
Fair one, I think not so.
There's one grape yet. I'm sure thy father drunk wine, but if thou be'st not an ass, I am a youth of 14. I have known thee already.
I dare not say I take you, but I give me and my service, ever whilst I live, into your guiding power. This is the man.
Why, the young Bertram, take her. She's thy wife.
My wife, my liege? I shall beseech your highness in such a business. Give me leave to use the help of mine own eyes.
Knowst thou not, Bertram, what she's done for me?
Yes, my lord, but never hope to know why I should marry her.
Thou knowst she has raised me from my sickly bed.
What falls it, my lord, to bring me down, must answer for your raising. I know her well. She had her breeding at my father's charge, a physician's daughter, my wife. This same rather corrupt me ever.
'Tis only title thou disdainst in her, the which I can build up. Strange is it that our bloods of color, weight, and heat, poured all together would quite confound distinction, yet stands off in differences so mighty. If she be all that is virtuous, say what thou dislikest, a poor physician's daughter. Thou dislikest a virtue for the name, but do not so. From lowest place when virtuous things proceed, the place is dignified by the doer's deed. Where great addition swells and virtue's done, it is a dropsied honor. Good alone is good without a name, vileness is so. The property by what it is should go, not by the title. She is young, wise, fair, and these to nature she's immediate heir, and these breed honor. That's honor scorn, which challenges itself as honor's born, and is not like the sire. Honors thrive, and rather from her acts we them derive than our foregoers. The mere word's a slave, debauched on every tomb, on every grave, a lying trophy, and as oft as doom, where dust and damned oblivion is a tomb of honored bones indeed. What can be said? If thou canst like this creature as a maid, I can create the rest. Virtue and she is her own dower, honor and wealth from me.
I cannot love her, nor will strive to do it.
Thou wrong'st thyself if thou should strive to choose!
That you are well restored, my lord, I'm glad. Let the rest go.
My honor's at stake, which to defeat I must produce my power. Here! Take her hand, proud, scornful boy! Worthy this good gift, the dust and vileness present shackle of my love and her desert, that canst not dream, if we poison us in her defective scale, shall wade into the beam. Thou dost not know it is in us to plant thine honor where we please to have it grow. Check thy content. Believe not thy disdain, but presently do thine own fortunes that obedient ride to its both thy duty owes and our power claims. Or I will throw thee from my care forever into the staggers and careless lapse of youth and ignorance, both my revenge and hate loosing upon thee in the name of justice without all terms of pity. Speak thine answer.
Pardon, my gracious lord, for I submit my fancy to your eyes when I consider what great creation and what dole of honor flies where you bid it. I find that she which of late was in my nobler thoughts most base is now the praised of the king, who so old as forborn so.
Take her by the hand and tell her she is thine, to whom I promise a counterpoise, if not to thy estate, a balance more replete.
I take her hands.
Good fortune and favor the king smile upon this country, whose fortune shall seem expedient on the now born brief, and be performed tonight. The solemn feast shall more tend upon the coming space, expecting absent friends. As thou lovest her, thy love's to me religious, else does err.
recantation.
Recantation? My lord? My master?
Aye, is it not a language I speak?
A most harsh one, and not to be understood without bloody succeeding. My master?
Are you companion to the Count Rosilian?
To any count? To all counts. To what is man?
To what is Count's man? Count's master is of another style.
You are too old, sir. Let it satisfy you. You are too old.
I must tell thee, sirrah, I write man, to which title age cannot bring thee.
What I dare too well do, I dare not do.
I did think thee, for two ordinaries, to be a pretty wise fellow. Thou didst make tolerable vent of thy travel. It might pass. But the scarfs and the bannerets about thee did manifestly dissuade me from believing thee a vessel of too great a burden. I have now found thee. When I lose thee again, I care not. Yet art thou good for nothing but taking up, and that thou art scarce worth.
Hadst thou not the privilege of antiquity?
Do not plunge thyself too far in anger, lest thou hasten thy trial, which if God have mercy on thee for a hen, so my good window of lattice, fare thee well. Thy casement I need not open, for I look through thee. Give me thy hand.
My lord, you give me most egregious indignity.
Aye, with all my heart, and thou art worthy of it.
I have not, my lord, deserved it.
Yes, good faith, every dram of it, and I will not bate thee a scruple.
Well, I shall be wiser.
Even as soon as thou canst, for thou hast to pull at a smack of the contrary. If ever thou be'st bound in thy scarfs, and beaten, thou shalt know what it is to be proud of thy bondage. I have a desire to hold my acquaintance with thee, sirrah, or rather, my knowledge, so that I may say, in the default, he is a man I know.
My lord, you do me most insupportable vexation.
I would it were hell pains for thy sake, and my poor doing eternal. For doing I am past, as I will by thee, with what motion age will give me leave.
Well, thou hast the sun shall take this disgrace off me. Scurvy, old, filthy, scurvy, lord. Well, I must be patient. There is no fettering of authority. I'll beat him if I can meet him again with any convenience, and he were double and double a lord. I'll have no more pity of his age than I'll have of... I'll beat him if I can but meet him again.
Sirrah!
Ah!
Your lord and master's married. There's news for you. You have a new mistress.
I most unfeignedly beseech your lordship to make some recantation of your wrongs. He is my lord, whom I serve above is my master.
Who? God?
Aye, sir.
The devil it is that's thy master. Why dost thou garter up thy arms of this fashion? Dost make hose of thy sleeves? Do other servants so? Thou wert best set thy lower part where thy nose stands. By my honor, if I were but 2 hours younger, I'd beat thee. Methinks thou art a general offense, and every man should beat thee. I think thou wast created for men to breathe themselves upon thee.
This is hard and undeserved measure, my lord.
Go to, sir. You were beaten in Italy for picking a kernel out of a pomegranate. You are a vagabond and no true traveler. You are more saucy with lords and great personages than the commission of your birth and virtue gives you heraldry. You are not worth another word, else I'd call you knave. I leave you.
Good, very good. It is so then. Good, very good. Let it be concealed a while.
I'm done. And forfeited the cares forever.
What's the matter, sweetheart?
Although before the solemn priest I have sworn, I will not bed her.
What, sweetheart?
Oh, my paroles! They have married me! I'll to the wars and never bed her.
France is a dog hole, and no more merits the tread of a man's foot. To the wars!
Shall be so, shall be so. There's letters from my mother. What the import is, I know not yet.
Aye, that would be known. To the wars, my boy, to the wars. He wears his honor in a box unseen that hugs his kicky-wicky here at home, spending his manly marrow in her arms, when it should sustain the bound and high curvet of Mars's fiery steed. To other regions. France is a stable, we that dwell in it jades. Therefore, to the wars.
It shall be so. I'll send her to my mother, to my house, and acquaint them. Wherefore I am fled, right to the king, that which I durst not speak. His present gift shall furnish me to those fields where noble fellows strike. War's no strife to the dark house and the detested wife.
Will this capriccio hold in thee, art sure?
Go with me to my chamber and advise me. Tomorrow, I'll send her straight away, and I'll to the wars.
Why, falls bound, there's noise in it. 'Tis hard. A young man married is a man that's marred. Steal away, leave her bravely go. The king has done you wrong, but hush, 'tis so.
My mother greets me kindly. Is she well?
She is not well, but yet she has her health. She is very merry, but yet she is not well. But, thanks be given, she is very well and wants nothing in the world. But yet, she is not well.
If she be very well, what does she ail that she's not very well?
Truly, she is very well indeed, but for two things.
What two things?
One, that she is not in heaven, whither God sent her quickly. The other, she is on earth, from whence God sent her quickly.
Bless you, fortunate lady.
I hope, sir, I have your good will to have my own good fortune.
You had my prayers to lead them on, and to keep them, have them still. Oh, my knave, how does my old lady?
So that you had her wrinkles and I her money. I would she did as you say.
Why, I say nothing.
Mary, you are the wiser man, for many a man's tongue shakes out his master's undoing. To say nothing, to do nothing, to know nothing, and to have nothing is to be a great part of your title, which is, within a very little, of nothing.
Away, thou'rt a knave.
You should have said, sir, before a knave, thou art a knave. That before me, thou art a knave. This had been truth, sir.
Thou art a witty fool. Go to, I have found thee.
Did you find me yourself, sir, or were you taught to find me? The search, sir, was profitable, and much fool may you find in you, even to the world's pleasure and increase of laughter.
Good knave of faith, and well-fed. Madam, my lord will go away tonight. A very serious business calls on him. The great prerogative and right of love, which, as your due time claims, he does acknowledge, but puts off to a compelled restraint, whose want and desire is strewed with sweet, to distill now in the curbed time, so the present hour may overflow with joy and pleasure down the brim.
What's his will else?
That you will take your instant leave of the king, make this haste your own good proceeding, strengthen what apology you think may make a probable need.
What more commands he?
That, having this obtained, you presently attend his further will.
In everything I wait upon his will.
I will report it so.
I pray you. Come, Sirrah.
But I hope your lordship thinks him not a soldier.
Yes, my lord, and with very valiant proof.
You have it by his own deliverance?
And by other warranted testimony.
Then my dial goes not true. I took this lark for a bunting.
I do assure you, my lord, he is very great in knowledge and accordingly valiant.
Then I have sinned against his experience and transgressed against his valor. And my state that way is dangerous, for I cannot yet find in my heart to repent. Here he comes. Make us friends. I will pursue the amity.
These things shall be done, sir.
Pray you, who's his tailor?
Sir?
Oh, I know him well. I, sir, he, sir, is a good workman, a very good tailor.
Will she go to the king?
She is.
Is she away tonight?
As you'll have her.
I have written my letters, casketed my treasure, given order for our horses. And tonight, when I should take possession of the bride, and ere I do begin.
A good traveler is something at the latter end of a dinner, but one that lies 3/3 and uses a known truth to pass 1,000 nothings with, should be once heard and thrice beaten.
Is there any unkindness between my lord and you, monsieur?
I know not how I have deserved to run into my lord's pleasure.
You have made shift to run into it, like him that leapt into the custard. And out of it you'll run again, rather than suffer question for your residence.
It may be that you have mistaken him, my lord.
And shall do so ever, though I took him at his prayers. Farewell, my lord, and believe this of me. You shall find no kernel in this light nut. The soul of this man is his clothes. Trust him not in matter of heavy consequence. I have kept of them tame, and know their natures. Farewell, monsieur. I have spoken better of you than you have or will to deserve at my hand. But we must do good against evil.
An idle lord, I swear.
I think not so.
Why? Do you not know him?
I know him well, and common speech gives him a worthy pass. Here comes my clog.
I have, sir, as I was commanded from you, spoke with the king, and have procured his leave for present parting. Only he desires some private speech with you.
I shall obey his will. You must not marvel, Helen, at my course, which holds not color with the time, nor does the ministration and the required office on my particular. Prepared I was not for such a business, therefore am I found so much unsettled. This drives me to entreat you. And presently you take your way for home, and rather muse than ask why I entreat you, for my respects are better than they seem, and my appointments, having them in need, greater than reveals itself at the first view to you that know them not. And this to my mother, 'twill be 2 days ere I shall see you. I leave it to your wisdom.
Sir, I can nothing save that I am your most obedient servant. And ever shall with true observance seek to eke out that wherein towards me my homely stars have failed to equal my great fortune.
Let that go, my haste is very great.
Tracy, your pardon.
Well, what would you say?
Sir, I am not worthy of the wealth I owe, nor dare would say is mine. Yet it is, but like a timorous thief, most fain would steal what law is vouched mine own.
What would you have?
Something. And scarce so much. Nothing indeed. I would not tell you what I would, my lord. Faith, yes. Strangers and foes do sunder and not kiss.
Jeez. I pray you stand up. Let him haste to horse.
I shall not break your bidding. Good, my lord.
Where are my other men, monsieur? Go thou toward home. Farewell. For I will never come unless I can shake my sword or hear the drum. Away! And for our flight, bravely, coraggio!
Hath much blood let forth and more thirst after.
Wholly seems to quarrel upon your grace's part, blackened, fearful upon the opposer.
Therefore we marvel much our cousin France would in so just a business shut his bosom against our borrowing prayers.
Good, my lord, the reasons of our state I cannot yield, but like a common and an outward man, that the great figure of the council frames by self-enabled motion, Therefore, dare not say what I think of it, since I have found myself in my uncertain grounds to fail as often as I have guessed.
Be it his pleasure.
But I'm sure the young of our nature, that surfeit on their ease, will day by day come here for physic.
And welcome shall they be. All the honors that can fly from us shall on them settle. You know your places well. When better fall, for your avails they fell. Tomorrow to the field.
Forward, march!
It hath happened all as I would have had it, save that he comes not along with her.
By my troth, I take my young lord to be a very melancholy man.
By what observance, I pray you?
Why? He will look upon his boot and sing, mend the ruff and sing, ask questions and sing, pick his teeth and sing. I knew men had this trick of melancholy, sold a goodly manner for a song.
Let me see what he writes and when he means to come.
I have no mind to Isabel since I was at court. Our oldlings and our Isabels of the country are nothing like your oldlings and your Isabels of the court. The brains of my Cupid's knocked out, and I begin to love as an old man loves money, with no stomach.
What have we here?
Even that you have there. Oh, gee, sorry.
I have sent you a daughter-in-law. She hath recovered the king and undone me. I have wedded her, not bedded her, and sworn to make the knot eternal. You shall hear I am run away. Know it before the report come. If there be breath enough in the world, I will hold a long distance. My duty to you, your unfortunate son, Bertram. This is not well. Rash and unbridled boy. To fly the favors of so good a king. To pluck his indignation upon thy head. By the misprizing of a maid, too virtuous for the contempt of empire.
Oh, madam! Yonder is heavy news within, between two soldiers and my young lady.
What is the matter?
Nay, there is some comfort in the news. Some comfort. Your son will not be killed so soon as I thought he would.
Why should he be killed?
So I say, madam, if he does run away, as I hear he does, the danger is in standing to it. That be the loss of men, though it be the getting of children. Here they come will tell you more. For my part, I only hear your son was run away.
Save you, good madam.
Madame, my lord is gone. Forever gone.
Do not say so.
Think upon patience. I pray you, gentlemen. I have felt so many quirks of joy and grief, but the first face of neither on the start can woman me unto it. Where is my son, I pray you?
Madam, he's gone to serve the Duke of Florence. We met him thitherward, for thence we came. And after some dispatch I hand at court, thither we bend again.
Look on his letter, madam. Here's my passport. When thou canst get the ring upon my finger, which never shall come off, and show me a child begotten of thy body that I am father to, then call me husband. But in such a then I write a never. This is a dreadful sentence.
Brought you this letter, gentlemen.
I, madam, and for the content's sake are sorry for our pains.
I prithee, lady, have better cheer. If thou engrossest, all the griefs are thine. Thou robbest me of a moiety. He was my son, but I do wash his name out of my blood, and thou art all my child. Towards Florence is he,
I, madam,
and to be a soldier.
such is his noblest purpose. And believe it, the Duke will lay upon him all the honor that good convenience claims.
Return you thither.
Aye, madam, with the swiftest wing of speed.
Till I have no wife, I have nothing in France. 'Tis bitter.
Found you that there.
Aye, madam.
'Tis but the boldness of his hand, haply, which his heart was not consenting to.
Nothing in France until he has no wife. There is nothing here that is too good for him, but only she. And she deserves a lord that 20 such rude boys might tend upon and call her hourly mistress. Who was with him?
A servant only and a gentleman which I have sometime known.
Paroles, was it not?
Indeed, good lady.
a very tainted fellow, and full of wickedness. My son corrupts the well-derived of nature with his inducement.
He has a deal too much of that which holds him much to have.
You're welcome, gentlemen. I will entreat you, when you see my son, to tell him that his sword can never win the honor that he loses.
We serve you, madam, in that and all your worthiest affairs.
Not so, but as we change our courtesies, will you draw near?
Till I have no wife, I have nothing in France. Nothing in France until he has no wife. Thou shalt have none, Racilian, none in France. Then hast thou all again. Poor Lord, is it I that drive thee from thy country and expose those tender limbs of thine to the event of the none-sparing war? And is it I that drive thee from the sportive court while thou wert shot at with fair eyes, to be the mark of smoky muskets? O you leaden messengers that ride upon the violent speed of fire, fly with false aim, pierce the still piercing air that sings with piercing. Do not touch my lord. 'Twere better I met the rabid lion when he roared with sharp constraint of hunger. 'Twere better that all the miseries which nature owed were mine at once. Come thou home, Racilian, whence honor but of danger wins a scar, as oft it loses all. Come home. My being here is if it holds thee hence. Shall I stay here to do it? No, although the air of paradise did fan the house and angels officed all. I will be gone. The pitiful rumor may report my flight to consolate thine ear. Come night and day. With the dark, poor thief, I'll steal away.
The general of our horse thou art, and we, great in our hope, lay our best love and credence upon thy promising fortune.
Sir, it is a charge too heavy for my strength, yet we will strive to bear it for your sake to the extreme edge of hazard.
Then go thou forth, and fortune smile upon thy auspicious helm as thy prosperous mistress.
This very day, great Mars, I put myself into thy file. Make me but like my thoughts, and I shall prove a worthy lover of thy drum, hater of love.
Alas! And would you take the letter for her? Might you not know that she would do as she has done by sending me a letter? Read it again.
I am St. Jake's pilgrim thither gone. Ambitious love hath so in me offended that barefoot plod I the cold ground upon, with sainted vow my faults to have amended. Right that from the bloody course of war my dearest master, your dear son, may hie. Bless him at home in peace, while I from far, his name with sainted fervor sanctify. His taken labors bid him me forgive. I, his despiteful Juno, sent him forth, from courtly friends with camping foes to live, where death and danger dog the heels of worth. He is too good and fair for death and me, whom I myself embrace to set him free.
What sharp stings are in her mildest words. Rinaldo, you did never lack advice so much as letting her pass so. Had I spoke with her, I could have well diverted her intents, which thus she hath prevented.
Well, pardon me, madam, if I had given you this at overnight, she might have been o'ertaken. Yet she writes pursuit would be but vain.
What angel shall bless this unworthy husband? He cannot thrive unless her prayers, whom heaven delights to hear and loves to grant, reprieve him from the wrath of greatest justice. Right, Rinaldo, to this unworthy husband of his wife. Let every word weigh heavy of her worth, that he does weigh too light. My greatest grief, though little does he feel it, set down sharply. Dispatch the most convenient messenger. When haply he shall hear that she is gone, he will return. And hope I may, that she, hearing so much, will speed her foot forth again, led hither by pure love. Which of them both is dearest to me? I have no skill and sense to make distinction. Provide this messenger. My heart is heavy, and mine age is weak. Grief would have tears, and sorrow bids me speak.
No, more like 30. They were huge. They were like giants. Oh no. Oh man, hey, let's go back. That was the time when you through the war. Yes.
They say the French Count has done most honorable service.
It is reported he has taken their greatest commander, and that with his own hand he slew his brother. Our labor is lost, and they are gone a contrary way. Hark, you may know by their trumpets.
Come, let's return again and suffice ourselves with the report of it. Well now, Diana, take heed of this French earl. The honor of a maid is her name, and no legacy is so rich as honesty.
I have told my neighbor how you have been solicited by a gentleman, his companion.
I know that knave. Hang him, when parole is. A filthy officer he is, and those suggestions for the young earl. Beware of them, Diana. Their promises, enticements, oaths, and tokens, and all those engines of lust are not the things that they go under. And the misery is example so terrible shows in the rack of maidenhood. Cannot for all that dissuade succession, but that they are lined with the twigs that threaten them. I hope I need not advise you further, but I hope your own grace will keep you where you are, though there are no further danger known than the modesty which is so lost.
You shall not need to fear me.
I hope so. Look, here comes a pilgrim. I know she will lie at my house, thither they send one another. I'll question her. God save you, pilgrim. Whither are you bound?
To St. Jake's the Grand. Where to the Palmer's Lodge, I do beseech you.
At the St. Francis, here to side the port.
Is this the way?
Aye, Mary, is it? They come this way. If you will tarry, holy pilgrim, but till the troops come by, I will conduct you to where you shall be lodged. The rather, for I think I know your hostess as ample as myself.
Is it yourself?
If you shall please so, pilgrim.
I thank you, and will stay upon your leisure.
You came, I think, from France.
I did so.
Here you will find a countryman of yours that has done worthy service.
His name, I pray you?
The Count Tressilian. Know you such a one?
But by the ear which hears most nobly of him. His face I know not.
Whatsoever he is, he's bravely taken here. He stole from France, as 'tis reported, for the king had married him against his liking. Think you it is so?
Aye, surely mere the truth. I know his lady.
There's a gentleman that serves the count, reports but coarsely of her.
His name, I pray you?
Monsieur Paroles.
Oh, I believe with him. In argument of praise or to the worth of the great count himself, she is too mean to have her name repeated. All her deserving is in a reserved honesty, and that I have not heard examined.
Alas, poor lady, 'tis a hard bondage to become the wife of a detesting lord.
Right, good creature. Whereso
This young maid might do her a worthy service, if she so pleased. How do you mean? He does broke with all that can in such pursuits corrupts the tender honor of a maid. But she is on for him, and keeps her guard in honestest defense.
I got for Belle.
So now they come! That is Antonio, the Duke's eldest son. That's Aeschylus.
Which is the Frenchman? He, that looks like Harry Potter. I would he loved his wife. If he were honester, he were much goodlier. Is it not a handsome gentleman?
I like him well.
'Tis a pity he's not honest. Yon's that same knave that leads him to these vile places. Were I his lady, I'd poison that vile rascal.
Which is he?
That jackanapes with scarves. Why is he melancholy?
Perchance he's heard the battle.
Lose our drum? Wow.
He's surely vexed at something. Look, he has spied us.
Mary, hang him.
And your curtsy for our ring carrier.
The troop is past. Come, Pilgrim, I will show you where you shall host. I've enjoined penitents those 4 or 5 to great St. Jake's bound already at my house. I thank you. Please at this matron and this gentle maid to dine with us tonight. The charge and the thanking shall be for me. And to requite you further, I will bestow some precepts of this virgin, worthy the note.
We'll take your offer kindly.
Nay, put him to it. Let him have his way.
If your lordship finds him not a hilding, hold me no more to your respect.
On my life, my lord, a bubble.
You think I'm so far deceived in him?
Believe it, my lord. In mine own direct knowledge, without any malice, but to speak of him as my kinsman, he's a most notable coward, an infinite and endless liar, an hourly promise breaker, and owner of no one good quality worthy your lordship's entertainment.
It were fit your lordship knew him, lest reposing too far in his virtue, which he hath not, he may in a great and trusty business, in a main danger, fail you.
I would I knew in what particular action to try him.
None better than to let him fetch off the drum which you hear him so confidently undertake to do.
I, with a troop of Florentines, will suddenly surprise him. Hence, I will have whom I am sure he knows not from the enemy. We will bind and hoodwink him so that he shall suppose no other but that he is carried into the leaguer of the adversaries when we bring him to our tents. Be about your lordship present at his examination. If he do not, for the promise of his life, and in the highest compulsion of base fear, offer to betray you and to deliver all the intelligence in his power against you, and that with the divine forfeit of his soul upon oath, never trust my judgment in any.
Oh, for the love of laughter, let him fetch his drum. When your lordship sees the bottom of his success in it, and to what metal this counterfeit lump of ore will be melted, if you give him not John Drum's entertainment, your inclining cannot be a move. Here he comes.
Oh, for the love of laughter, hinder not the honor of his design. Let him fetch off his drum in any hand.
Now, monsieur, this drum sticks sorely in your disposition.
A pox on it, let it go, 'tis but a drum.
But a drum? Is it but a drum? Drum so lost! There was excellent command to charge in with our horse upon our wings and to rend our own soldiers.
That was not to be blamed on the command of the service. It was a disaster of war that Caesar himself could not have prevented if he had been there to command.
Well, we must not so greatly condemn our success. Some dishonor we had in the loss of that drum, but it is not to be recovered.
Might have been recovered.
It might, but it is not now.
It is to be recovered, but that the merit of success is seldom attributed to the true and exact performer. I'll have that drum, or another, or die trying.
Why, monsieur? If you have a stomach, to it! If you think this current mystery of stratagem can bring this instrument of honor again into his native quarter, be magnanimous in the enterprise and go on. For I will grace the attempt for a worthy exploit, if you speed well it. The Duke shall both speak of it, and extend you it further becomes his greatness, even to the utmost syllable of your worthiness.
By the hand of a soldier, I will undertake it.
But you must not now slumber in it.
I will about it this evening, will presently pen down my dilemmas, encourage myself in my certainty, and put myself into my mortal preparation, and by midnight look to hear further from me.
May I be so bold to acquaint his grace you are gone about it?
I know not what the success will be, but the attempt I vow.
I know thee art valiant, and to the possibility of thy soldiership, We'll subscribe for thee.
I love not many words.
Farewell.
No more than a fish loves water. Is this not a strange fellow, my lord, that so confidently seems to undertake this business, which he knows is not to be done, damns himself to do, and dares better be damned than to do it?
You do not know him, my lord, as we do. Certain it is he will steal himself into a man's favor, and for a week escape a great deal of discoveries. But when you find him out, you have him ever after.
Do you think he'll make no deed at all? Well, this so seriously, he does address himself on two.
None at all, my lord, but to return with that invention and clap upon you 2 or 3 probable lies. But we have almost in Boston. You shall see his fall tonight, for indeed he is not for your lordship's respect.
We'll make you some sport with the fox, ere we'll case him. He was first smoked by the old Lord Lefew. When he and his disguise are parted, tell me what a sprat you find him. You shall see this very night.
I must go look at my twigs. You shall be caught.
Your brother? You shall go along with me?
As it please your lordship, I'll leave you.
Now, I will lead you to the house and show you the lass I spoke of.
But you said she's honest.
That's all the fault. I spoke with her but once and found her wondrous kind. But I sent her by this same coxcomb we have in the wind tokens and letters, which she did resend. And this is all I have done. She's a fair creature. Can you go see her?
With all my heart, my lord.
If you misdoubt me that I am not she, I know not how I shall assure you further, but I shall lose the grounds I work upon.
Though I my estate be fallen, I was well born, nothing acquainted with these businesses, and would not put my reputation now in any staining act.
Nor would I wish you. First, give me trust the count he is my husband, and what to your sworn counsel I have spoken is so from word to word, and then you cannot, by the good aid that I of you shall borrow, err in bestowing it.
I should believe you, for you have shown me that which well approves your great fortune.
Take this purse of gold, and let me buy your friendly help thus far, which I will overpay and pay again when I have found it. The Count, he woos your daughter, lays down his wanton siege before her beauty, resolved to carry her. Let her in fine consent, as will direct her how 'tis best to bear it. Now his important blood will not deny that she'll demand. A ring the Count he wears, which downward has succeeded some 4 or 5% since the first father wore it. This ring he holds in most rich choice, yet, to buy his will, in his idle fire it will not seem too dear, however repented after.
Now I see the bottom of your purpose.
You see it lawful then. It is no more, but your daughter, ere she seems as one, desires this ring, appoints him an encounter, in fine delivers me to fill the time, herself most chastely absent. After, to marry her, I'll add 3,000 crowns, what is past already.
I have yielded. Instruct my daughter how she shall presetter, that time and place with this deceit so lawful may prove coherent. Every night he comes with musics of all sorts, and songs composed to her unworthiness. It nothing steads us to chide him from our eaves, for he persists as if his life lay on it.
Why then tonight let us essay our plot, which, if its speed, is wicked meaning in a lawful deed, and lawful meaning in a lawful act, where both not sin, but yet a sinful fact. Let's about it.
He can come no other way but by this hedge corner. When you sally upon him, speak what terrible language you will, though you understand it not yourselves, no matter, for we must not seem to understand him, unless some one among us whom we must produce for an interpreter.
Good captain, let me be the interpreter.
Art not acquainted with him? Knows he not thy voice?
No, sir, I warrant you.
But what linsey-woolsey hast thou to speak to us again?
E'en such as you speak to me.
We must think us some band of strangers in the adversary's entertainment. Now, he had the smack of all neighboring languages, therefore we must every one be a man of his own fancy, not to know what we speak one to another, so that we seem to know is to know straight our purpose. Chuff's language, gabble enough and good enough. As for you, interpreter, you must seem very politic. But Cao, here he comes to beguile 2 hours into sleep, and then to return and to swear the lies he forges.
O'clock. Within these 3 hours, 'twill be time enough to go home. What shall I say I have done? It must be a very plausive invention that carries it. They begin to smoke me. Disgraces have of late knocked too often at my door. Find my tongue is too foolhardy, but my heart hath the fury of Mars before it, and of his creatures, not daring the reports of my tongue.
Is it possible that he should know what he is and be that he is?
What the devil should move me to undertake the recovery of this drum? Being not ignorant to the impossibility, and knowing I had no such purpose, I must give myself some hurts to say it was an exploit. Slight ones will not carry it. They will say, "Came you off with so little?" But great ones I dare not give. Wherefore, what's the instance? Tongue, I must put you in a butter woman's mouth, or buy another bajazeth mule if you prattle me into these perils. I would the cutting of my garments would serve the turn. The breaking of my Spanish sword.
We cannot afford you so.
The bearing of my head, and to say it was in stratagem.
Would not do.
To drown my clothes, and to say I was stripped.
Hardly, sir.
Though I swore I leapt from the window of the citadel.
How deep?
30 fathom.
3 great oaths that scarce make that be believed.
I would I had any drum of the enemies, I would swear I recovered it.
You shall hear one anon.
Drum now of the enemies.
Do not hide mine eyes!
O, skupere, prište, ne svorje, vanje.
Boscos! Trobuldo Boscos!
I know you are from Musco's regiment, and I will lose my life for want of language. If there be here Dane, German, Low Dutch, French, or Italian, let him speak to me, and I will discover that which shall undo the Florentine.
Boscos Volado, I understand thee, and can speak thy tongue. Caroli Bonco. Sir, betake thee to thy faith, for 17 poniards are at thy bosom. Oh, pray, pray, pray! Mancare venia dulce. Our general is content to spare thee yet, and, hoodwinked as thou art, will lead thee on to gather from thee. Happily thou mayst inform something to save thy life.
Oh, let me live, and all the secrets of our cave I'll show. Their force, their purpose, nay, I'll speak that which you shall wonder at.
But wilt thou faithfully?
If I do not, damn me.
The Cordolinta. Come on. Thou art granted space.
So tell the Count Rossilian and my brother that we have caught the woodcock and will keep him muffled till we do hear from them.
Captain, I will.
It will betray us all unto ourselves. Inform on that.
So I will. Sir.
Till then, I'll keep him dark and safely locked.
They told me that your name was Fontainebleau.
No, my good lord, Diana.
Titled goddess and worth it with addition. But fair soul, in your fine frame, hath love no quality. If the quick-fired youth like not your mind, you are no maiden, but a monument. When you are dead, you should be such a one as you are now, for you are cold and stern. And now you should be as your mother was, when your sweet self was got.
She then was honest.
So should you be.
No, my mother did but duty, such, my lord, as you owe to your wife.
No more of that. I pray thee, do not strive against my vows. I was compelled to her, but I love thee by love's own sweet constraint, and will forever do thee all rights of service.
Aye, so you serve us till we serve you. But when you have our roses, you barely leave our thorns to prick ourselves and mock us with our bareness.
How have I sworn?
'Tis not the many oaths that makes the truth, but the plain single vow that is vowed true. What is not holy that we swear not by, but take the highest to witness. Then, pray tell me, if I should swear by Jove's great attributes I loved you dearly, would you believe my oaths when I did love you ill? This has no holding, to swear by him whom I protest to love, that I will work against him. Therefore, your oaths are words, and poor conditions but unsealed, at least in my opinion.
Change it, change it. Be not so wholly cruel. Love is holy, and my integrity never knew the crafts that you do target men. Stand more off, but give unto my sick desires, who then recovers. Say that mine, ever my love, as it begins, shall so persever.
I see that men may rope us in such a snare that we'll forsake ourselves. Give me that ring.
I'll lend it thee, my dear, but have no power to give it from me.
Will you not, my lord?
It is an honor longing to our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, and would be the greatest obloquy in the world to me to lose.
Mine honors such a ring. My chastity's the jewel of our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, which were the greatest obloquy in the world in me to lose. Thus your own proper wisdom brings in the champion honor on my part against your vain assault.
Here, take my ring, my house, my honor, yea, my life be thine, and I'll be bid by thee.
When midnight comes, knock at my chamber window. All order take my mother shall not hear. Now will I charge you in the band of truth. When you have conquered my yet maiden bed, remain there but an hour, nor speak to me. My reasons are most strong, and you shall know them. When back again this ring shall be delivered, and on your finger in the night I'll put another ring, that what in time proceeds may token to the future our past deeds. Adieu till then fail not, for you have won a wife of me, though there my hope be done.
In heaven on earth I have won by wooing thee.
For which live long to thank both heaven and me. You may so, in the end. My mother told me just how he would woo, as if she sat in's heart. She said all men have alike oaths. He had sworn to marry me when his wife's dead. Therefore, I'll lie with him when I am buried. Only since Frenchmen are so braid, marry that will, I live and die a maid. Only in this disguise, I think it no sin to cozen him that would unjustly win.
You have not given him his mother's letter?
I've delivered it an hour since. There's something in it that stings his nature, for on the reading it, he changed almost into another man.
There is much worthy blame laid upon him for shaking off so good a wife and so sweet a lady.
Especially he had incurred the everlasting displeasure of the king, who had even turned his bounty to sing happiness to him. I will tell you something. but you shall let it dwell darkly with you.
Once you have spoken it, 'tis dead, and I am the grave of it.
He hath perverted a young gentlewoman here in Florence, of a most chaste renown, and tonight he fleshes his will and the spoil of her honor. He has given her his monumental ring, and he thinks himself made in this unchaste composition.
Now God delay our rebellion, as we are ourselves. What things are we?
Merely our own traitors, and as in the common course of all treason, we still see them reveal themselves, until obtain their abhorred ends. So he that in his action contrives against his own nobility, in his proper stream, overflows himself.
Is it not meant damnable in us to be trumpeters of our unlawful intents? We shall not then have his presence tonight?
Not till after midnight, for he is dieted to his hour.
It approaches apace. I would gladly have him see his company anatomized, that he might take a measure of his own judgments, wherein so curiously he had set this counterfeit.
We will not meddle with him until he comes, for his presence must be the whip of the other.
In the meantime, what hear you of these wars?
I hear there's an overture of peace.
Nay, I assure you, a peace concluded.
What will the Count Tressilian do then? Will he travel higher, or return again to France?
I perceive by this demand you are not altogether of his counsel.
Let it be forbid, sir. So should I be such a great deal of his act.
Sir, his wife some 2 months since fled from his house. Her pretense is a pilgrimage to St. Jake's le Grand, which holy undertaking with most austere sanctimony she accomplished. And there residing, the tenderness of her nature became as prey to her grief. In fine, made a groan of her last breath, and now she sings in heaven.
How is this justified?
The stronger part of it by her own letters, which makes her story true, even to the point of her death. Her death itself, which cannot be her office to say is come, was faithfully confirmed by the rector of the place.
Hath the Count all this intelligence?
Aye, and the particular confirmations point from point to the full arming of the verity.
I am heartily sorry that he'll be glad of this.
How mightily sometimes we make us comforts of our losses.
And how mightily some other times we drown our gain in tears. The great dignity that his valor here hath acquired for him shall at home be met with a shame as ample.
The web of our life is of a mingled yarn, good and ill together. Our virtues would be proud if our faults whipped them not, and our crimes would despair if they were not cherished by our virtues. How now, where's your master?
He met the Duke in the street, sir, of whom he hath taken a solemn leave. His lordship will, next morning, for France. The Duke hath offered him letters of commendations to the king.
They shall be no more needful there if they were more than they could commend.
They cannot be too sweet for the king's tartness. How now, my lord? Is it not after midnight?
I have tonight dispatched 16 businesses, a month's length apiece. By an abstract of success, I have congeed with the Duke, done my due with his nearest, and buried a wife, mourned for her. Entertain my convoy, writ to my lady mother I am returning, and between these main parcels of dispatch effected many nicer needs. The last was the greatest, but that I have not ended yet.
If this business be of any difficulty, and this morning your departure hence, it requires haste of your lordship.
I mean, it is not ended yet, as fearing to hear of it hereafter. But shall we have this dialogue between the fool and the soldier? Come! Bring forth this counterfeit module, as deceived me like a double-meaning prophesizer.
Bring it forth! Has sat in the stocks all night, poor gallant knave.
No matter. His heels have deserved it, usurping his spurs so long. How does he carry himself?
I have told your lordship already, the stocks carry him. But to answer you as you would be understood, he weeps like a wench that had shed her milk. He hath confessed himself to Morgan, whom he supposes to be a friar, from the time of his remembrance to this very instant disaster of his setting in the stocks. And what think you he hath confessed?
Nothing of me, has he?
His confession is taken, it shall be read to his face. If your lordship be in it, as I believe you are, you must have the patience to hear it.
Plague upon him! Muffled, he can say nothing of me.
Hush, hush, good man comes! Porta da Rosa!
He calls for the tortures! What do you say without him?
I will confess what I know without constraint. If he pinch me like a pasty, I can say no more.
You are a merciful general. Our general bids you answer to what I shall ask you out of a note.
And truly, as I hope to live.
First, demand of him how many horse the Duke is strong. What say you to that?
5,000 or 6,000, but very weak and unserviceable. The troops are all scattered, and the commander's very poor rogues. Upon my reputation and credit, and as I hope to live.
Shall I set down your answer so?
Do! I'll take the sacrament on it, how and which way you will.
All's one to him. The past-saving slave is this.
You're deceived, my lord. This is Monsieur Paroles, the gallant militarist. That was his own phrase. He had the whole stirrup of war in the knot of his scarf, and the practice in the shape of his dagger.
I will never trust a man again for keeping his sword clean, nor believe he can have everything in him by wearing his apparel neatly.
Well, that's set down.
5,000 or 6,000 horse, I said. I will say true, or thereabouts, set down, for I will tell truth.
He's very near the truth in this.
But I con him no thanks for it, and the nature he delivers it.
Very poor rogues, I pray you say.
Well, that's set down.
I humbly thank you. The truth's the truth. The rogues are marvelous poor.
Demand of him what strength they are afoot. What say you to that?
By my troth, if I were to live this present hour, I will tell true. Let me see. Spurio, 150. Sebastian, so many. Carambus, so many. Jakes, so many. Giltian, Cosmo, Lodowick, and Grati, 250 each. Mine own company, Chittifer, Valmond, and Benty, 250 each, so that the muster file, rotten and sound upon my life, amounts not to 15,000 full, half of the which dare not shake the snow off their cassocks, lest they shake themselves to pieces.
Shall be done to him.
Nothing, but let him have thanks. Demand of him my condition, and what credit I have with the Duke.
Well, that's set down. You shall demand of him whether one Captain Dumaine be in the Duke's camp, a Frenchman. What his reputation is with the Duke, what his valor, honesty, and expertness in war, or whether he think it not possible, with well-weighing sums of gold, to corrupt him to a revolt. What say you? What think you of it?
I beseech you, let me answer to the particular of the interrogatories. Demand them singly.
Do you know this Captain Dumaine?
I know him. He was a botcher's apprentice in Paris from whence he was whipped for getting the Shreves fool with child. A dumb innocent that could not say him nay.
Hey, by your leave, hold your hand. Do I know his grades are forward to the next tile that falls?
Is this captain in the Duke of Florence's camp?
Upon my knowledge he is, and lousy.
Nay, look not so upon me. We shall hear of your lordships anon.
What is his reputation with the Duke?
The Duke knows him for no other but a poor officer of mine, and writ to me this past day to put him out of the band. I think I have his letter in my pocket.
Marry, we'll search.
In good sadness, I do not know. Either it is there, or it is with the Duke's other letters upon a file in my tent.
Here it is! Here's a paper. Shall I read it to you?
I do not know if it be it or no.
Our interpreter does it well.
Excellently.
Diane, the Count's a fool, and full of gold.
That is not the Duke's letter, sir. That is an invitation to a proper maid in Florence, one Diana, to take heed of the allurement of one Count Racilian, a foolish, idle boy, but for all that very ruttish. I pray you, put it up again.
Nay, but I'll read it first.
My meaning in it, I protest, was very honest in the behalf of the maid, for I knew the Count to be a very dangerous and lascivious boy, who is a whale to virginity, and swallows up all the fried fine.
Double-sided rope! Ah!
When he swears oaths, bid him drop gold and take it. After he scores, he never pays the score. Half one is match well made. Match and well make it. He ne'er pays after debts. Take it before. And say a soldier, Diane, told thee this. Men are to mell with, boys are not to kiss. For count of this, the count's a fool, I know it, who pays before, but not when he does owe it. Thine, as he vowed to thee in thine ear, paroles.
He shall be whipped through the camp with this rhyme in his forehead.
This is your devoted friend, sir, the manifold linguist and armor-potent soldier.
I could endure anything before but a cat, and now he's a cat to me.
I perceive, sir, by the general's looks, we shall be fain to hang.
Oh, let me live. Not that I am afraid to die, but that, my offenses being many, I would repent out the remainder of nature. Let me live, in a dungeon, in the stocks, or anywhere, that I may live.
We'll see what may be done, and that you confess freely. Therefore, once more to this Captain Dumain. You have spoken to his reputation with the Duke and to his valor. What's his honesty?
He will steal, sir, an egg out of a cloister. For rapes and ravishments, he parallels Nessus. He professes the not keeping of oaths, marry, in breaking them he is stronger than Hercules. He will lie, sir, with such volubility that you would think truth were a fool. Drunkenness is his best virtue, for he will be swine drunk, and in his sleep he does little harm, save to the bedclothes about him. But they know his condition and lay him in straw. There is little more I can say, sir, of his honesty. He has everything an honest man should not have. What an honest man should have, he has nothing.
I begin to love him for this.
For this description of thine honesty, a pox on him. He's more and more a cat.
What say you to his expertness in war?
Faith, he hath led the drum before the English tragedians. To belie him, I will not. More of his soldiership I know not, except that he had the honor to be the officer at a place there called Mile End, to instruct for the doubling of files. I would say more of his honesty, but of this I am not certain.
He has out-villained villainy so far that the rarity redeems him.
Pox on him, he is still a cat.
His virtues being at this poor a price, I need not ask you if gold will corrupt him to revolt.
Sir, for a cardicue he will sell the fee simple of salvation, the inheritance of it, and cut the entail from all remainders, with a perpetual succession of it perpetually.
What's his brother? The other Captain Dumain.
Why does he have him of me?
What's he?
In a crow the same nest, not altogether so great in goodness, but greater a great deal in evil. He excels his brother for a coward, yet his brother is reputed one of the best there is. In a retreat he outruns any lackey. Marry, in coming on he has the cramp.
If your life be saved, will you undertake to betray the Florentine?
Aye, and the captain of his horse, Count Tressilian.
I'll whisper with the general, and know his pleasure.
Oh, no more drumming, a plague of all drums. Only to seem to deserve well, to beguile the supposition of that lascivious young boy, the Count, have I run into this danger. Yet who would have suspected an ambush where I was taken?
There is no remedy, sir, but you must die. The general says one who would so traitorously discover the secrets of his own army and make such pestiferous report of men very nobly held can serve the world for no honest use. Therefore you must die. Come, Hateman, off with his head.
Oh, let me live, and let me see my death.
That you shall, and take your leave of all your friends. So, look about you. Know you any here?
Good morrow, noble captain.
God bless you, Captain Paroles.
God save you, noble captain.
What greeting will you to my Lord Lafew? I am for France.
Good captain, will you give me a copy of the sonnet to Ruta Diana on the behalf of the Count Tressilian. And if I were not a very coward, I'd compel it of you. But, fare you well.
You are undone, Captain. All but your scarf, there's a knot on it yet.
Who cannot be crushed with a plot?
If you could find a country where but women that had received so much shame, you might begin an impudent nation. I am for France. We shall speak of you there.
Yet am I thankful. If my heart were great, 'twould burst at this. Captain, I'll be no more, but eat and sleep and drink as soft as captain shall. Simply the thing I am shall make me live. Who knows himself a braggart, let him fear this. For it shall come to pass that every braggart shall be found an ass. Rust sword, cool blushes, paroles, live. Safest in shame, being fooled by foolery thrive. There's place and means for every man alive. I'll after them.
That you may well perceive I have not wronged you. One of the greatest in the Christian world shall be my surety, for whose throne 'tis needful ere I can perfect mine intents to kneel. Time was I did him a desired office, dear almost as his life, which gratitude through flinty Tartar's bosom would peep forth and answer thanks. I duly am informed his grace is at Marseilles, to which place we have convenient convoy. You must know I am supposed dead. The army breaking, my husband hies him home, where heaven aiding, and by the leave of our good lord, the king, will be before our welcome.
Gentle madam, you never had a servant to whose business your trust was more welcome.
Nor you, mistress, ever a friend whose thoughts more truly labor to recompense your love. Doubt not, but heaven hath brought me up to be your daughter's dower, as it hath fated her to be my motive and helper to a husband. But oh, strange men that can such sweet use make of what they hate, when saucy trusting of the cousin thoughts defiles the pitchy night. So lust doth play with what it loathes for that which is away. But more of this hereafter. You, Diana, under my poor instructions, yet must suffer something in my behalf.
Let death and honesty go with your impositions. I am yours, upon your will to suffer.
Yet, I pray you, but with the word the time will bring on summer, when briar shall have leaves as well as thorns and be as sweet as sharp. We must away. Our wagon is prepared and the time revives us. All's well that ends well. Still defines the crown. Whatever the course, the end is the renown.
No. Your son was misled with a snipped taffeta fellow there, whose villainous saffron would have made the unbaking doughy youth of a nation in his color. Your daughter-in-law had been alive at this hour, and your son here at home, more advanced by the king than by that red-tailed hubblebee I speak of.
I would I had not known him. It was the death of the most virtuous gentlewoman that nature ever had praise for creating. If she had partaken of my flesh and cost me the dearest groans of a mother, I could not have owed her more rooted love.
'Twas a good lady. We may pick 1,000 salads, ere we light upon such another herb.
Indeed, sir, she was the sweet marjoram of the salad, or rather, the herb of grace.
They are not herbs, you knave, they are nose herbs.
I am no great Nebuchadnezzar, sir. I have not much skill in grass.
Whether dost thou profess thyself, a knave or a fool?
A fool, sir, at a man's service, and a knave at a woman's.
Your distinction?
I would cozen the man of his wife and do his service.
So you are a knave at his service indeed.
And I would give his wife my bauble, sir, to do her service.
I will subscribe for thee. Thou art both a knave and a fool.
At your service.
No.
Why, if I cannot serve you, I can serve as great a prince as you are.
Who's that, a Frenchman?
Faith, has an English name, but his physiognomy is more hotter in France than there.
What prince is that?
The Black Prince, sir. Alias, the Prince of Darkness. Alias, the Devil.
Hold thee. I give thee this not to suggest to thee from thy master thou talk'st of. Serve him still.
I am a woodland fellow, sir, that always loved a great fire, and the master I speak of ever keeps a good fire. But sure, he is the prince of the world. Let his nobility remain in his court. I am for the narrow gate, which I take to be too little for pomp to enter. Some that humble themselves may, but the many will be too chill and tender. And they'll be for the flowery way, and with the broad gate, and the great fire.
Go thy ways. I begin to be a-weary with thee. And I tell thee so before, because I would not fall out with thee. Go thy ways, and let my horses be well looked to without any tricks.
If I put any tricks upon them, sir, they shall be jades' tricks, which are their own right by the law of nature.
Come,
That's it! I hope, Siller, away!
A shrewd knave, and an unhappy.
So he 'tis. My lord that's gone made him much sport out of him. By his authority he remains here, which he thinks is a patent for his sauciness. And indeed, he has no pace, but runs where he will.
I like him well, 'tis not amiss. And I was about to tell you, since I heard of the good lady's death, and my lord your son was upon his return home, I moved the king, my master, to speak in the behalf of my daughter, which, in the minority of them both, his majesty, out of a self-gracious remembrance, did first propose. His highness hath promised me to do it, and to stop up the displeasure he hath conceived against your son, there is no fitter matter. How does your ladyship like it?
With very much content, my lord. And I wish it happily effected.
His highness comes post from Marseilles, of as able a body as when he numbered 30. I will be here tomorrow, or I am deceived by him that in such intelligence hath seldom failed.
It rejoices me that I hope I shall see his majesty ere I die. I have letters that my son will be here tonight. I shall beseech your lordship to remain with me until they meet together.
I was wondering, madam, with what manners I might be safely admitted.
You need but plead your honorable privilege.
Ladies, of that I have made a bold charter, but I thank my God it holds yet.
Yonder is my lord your son with a patch of velvet on his face. Whether there be a scar under to know that a velvet knows, but 'tis a goodly patch of velvet. His left cheek is a cheek of 2 pile and a half. His right cheek is worn bare.
A star nobly got, or a noble star, so belike as that.
But it is your carbonadoed face.
Pray you, let us go see your son. I long to talk with the young noble soldier.
Faith, there's a dozen of them, with delicate fine hats and most courteous feathers that bow and nod the head at every match.
Gentle limbs in my affairs. Be bold, you do so grow in my requital as nothing can unroot you. In happy time, this man may help me to his majesty's ear through his power. God save you, sir.
And you?
Sir, I have seen you in the court of France.
I have been sometimes there.
I do presume, sir, that you're not fallen from the report that goes upon your goodness, and therefore goaded with most sharp occasions, which lay nice manners by.
I put you to the use of your own virtues, for the which I shall continue thankful.
What's your will?
That it will please you to bring this poor petition to the king, and aid me with that store of power you have to come into his presence.
Well, the king's not here.
Not here, sir?
Not indeed. He hence removed last night, and with greater haste than is his use.
Lord, how we lose our pains! All's well that ends well yet, though time seems so adverse and means unfit. I do beseech you, whither has he gone?
Marry, as I take it, to Rossilion, whither I am.
Oh. I do beseech you, sir, since you are like to see the king before me, commend the paper to his gracious hand, which I presume shall render you no blame, but rather make you thank your pains for it. I will follow you with what good speed our means will make us means.
This I'll do for you.
And you shall find yourself to be well thanked, whatever falls more. We must to horse again. Go, go, provide.
Master Lavach, give my lord Lefew this letter. I have ere now been better known to you when I have held familiarity with fresher clothes. But I am now muddied in Fortune's mood and smell somewhat strong of her strong displeasure.
Truly, Fortune's displeasure is but sluttish, if it smells so strongly as thou speakest of. I'll henceforth eat no fish of Fortune's buttery. Prithee, allow the wind.
Nay, you need not to stop your nose, sir. I spake but by a metaphor.
Truly, if your metaphors stink, I'll stop my nose, or against any man's metaphor. Prithee, get thee further.
Pray you, sir, deliver me this paper.
Phew, a paper from Fortune's clothes stool to give to a nobleman? Look, here he comes himself. Here's a her of Fortune, sir, or Fortune's cat, but not a musk cat, that has fallen into the unclean fish pond of her displeasure, and, as he says, is muddied withal. Pray, use this carp as you may, for he looks like a poor, decayed, ingenious, foolish, rascally knave. I do pity his distress in my similes of comfort, and leave him to your lordship.
My lord, I am a man whom Fortune hath cruelly scratched.
And what would you have me to do? 'Tis too late to pare her nails now. Wherein have you played the knave with Fortune that she should scratch you, who of herself is a good lady and would not have knaves to thrive long under her? There's a cardicue for you. Let the justices make you in Fortune friends. I am for other business.
I beseech you, hear me one single word.
You beg a single penny more? Come, you shall save your word.
My name, my lord, is Paroles.
You beg more than word, then. Cox my passion, give me your hand. How does your drop?
Oh, my good lord, you were the first that found me.
Was I, in sooth? And I was the first that lost thee.
Lies in you, my lord, to bring me in some grace, for you did bring me out.
Out upon thee, knave. Dost thou put upon me at once the office of God and the devil? One brings thee in grace, the other brings thee out. Here comes the king. I know by his trumpets. Inquire further after me, sirrah. I had talk of you last night. Though you are a knave and a fool, you shall eat. Go to, follow.
I praise God for you, sir.
We
lost a jewel of her, and our esteem was made much poorer by it. But your son, as mad in folly, lacked the sense to know her estimation home.
'Tis past, my liege, and I beseech your majesty to make it natural rebellion, done in the blade of youth, when oil and fire, too strong for reason's force, o'erbears it and burns on.
My honored lady, I have forgiven and forgotten all, though my revenges were high bent upon him and watched the time to shoot.
This I must say, but first I must beg my pardon. The young lord did to his majesty, his mother, and his lady, offensive might he note, but to himself the greatest wrong of all. He lost a wife whose beauty did astonish the survey of richest eyes, whose words all ears took captive, whose dear perfection hearts that scorned to serve did humbly call mistress.
Praising what is lost makes remembrance dear. Well, call him hither. We are reconciled, and the first view shall kill all repetition. Let him not ask our pardon. The nature of his great offense is dead, and deeper than oblivion we do bury the incensing relics of it. Let him approach, a stranger, no offender, and inform him so 'tis our will he should.
I shall, my liege.
What says he to your daughter? Have you spoke?
All he is hath reference to your highness.
Then shall we have a match? I have letters sent me that sets him high in fame.
He looks well on it.
I am not a day a season, for thou mayest see a sunshine and a hail in me at once. But to the brightest beams distracted clouds give way, so stand now forth. The time is fair again.
My high repented blames, your sovereign. Pardon to me.
All is whole, not one word more of the consumed time. Let's take the instance from the forward top. For we are old, and on our quickest decrees, and noiseless and inaudible for the time stills ere we can effect them. You remember the daughter of this lord?
Admiringly, my liege. At first I took my choice upon her, ere my heart make too bold a herald of my tongue, where the impression mine eye in fixing, contempt his scornful perspective did lend me, which warped the line of every other favor. Scorned a fair color, or expressed it stolen, extended or contracted, the most hideous object. Thence it came that she, whom all men praise and whom myself, since I have lost, have loved, was in mine eye the dust that did offend it.
Well excused, that thou didst love her strike some scores away from the great compt. But love that comes too late, like remorseful pardon slowly carried, to the great sender turns a sour offense, crying, that's good, that's gone. Our rash faults oft make trivial price of serious things we have, not knowing them until we know their grave. Oft are displeasures, to ourselves unjust, destroy our friends and after reap their dust. Our own love waking cries to see what's done, while shameful hate sleeps out the afternoon. Be the sweet Helen's now, and now forget her. Send forth your amorous token for fair Maudlin, and here we'll stay to see our widower's second marriage day.
Which better than the first, O heaven bless, or ere they meet, and me, O nature's cess.
Come on, my son, in whom my house's name must be digested. Give a favor from you to sparkle in the spirits of my daughter, that she may quickly come. By my chops, and every hair that's on 'em. Such a ring as this, the last that ere I took her leave at court, I saw upon Helen's finger.
Hers it was not.
Now pray you let me see it, for mine eye while I was speaking was oft fastened to it. This ring was mine! When I gave it Helen, I bade her, if fortune ever stood in necessity to help, that by this token I would relieve her. Had you the craft, reaver, what should stead her most?
My gracious sovereign, however it pleases you to take it so, the ring was never hers.
Son, on my life, I have seen her wear it, and she reckoned it at her life's rate.
I am sure I saw her wear it.
You are deceived, my lord, she never saw it. In Florence was it from a case that thrown me, wrapped in a paper which contained the name of her that threw it. Noble showsman thought I stood engaged, but when I had subscribed fully to mine own fortune, and informed her fully that I cannot answer in that course of honor as she made the overture, she ceased in heavy satisfaction and would never receive the ring again.
Plutus himself, that knows the tinctum multiplied medicine, hath not in nature's mystery more science than I have in this ring. 'Twas mine, 'twas Helen's whoever gave it you. Then if you know that you are well acquainted with yourself, confess 'twas hers, by what rough enforcement thou got it from her. She called the saints to surety she would never put it from her finger unless she gave it yourself in bed, where you have never come, or sent us upon her great disaster.
She never saw it.
Thou speakst it falsely, as I love mine honor, makes conjectural fears come into me, which I would fain shut out. If it should prove that thou art so inhuman, it will not prove so, and yet I know not. Thou didst hate her deadly, and she is dead, which nothing but to close her eyes myself could win me to believe more than to see this ring. Away with him! My forepast proves her ere the mountain fall, shall tax my fears of little vanity, having vainly feared too little. Away with him!
If you shall ever prove the ring was hers, you shall as easy prove that I husbanded her bed in Florence, for yet she never was.
I am wrapped in dismal thinkings.
Gracious sovereign, whether I have been to blame or no, I know not. Here's a petition from a Florentine who hath for 4 or 5 removes come short to tender it herself. I undertook it vanquished thereto by the fair grace and speech of the poor suppliant who by this I know is here attending. Her business looks in her with an importing visage, and she did tell me in a sweet verbal brief it concerned your highness and herself.
Upon his many protestations to marry me when his wife was dead, I blush to say it, he won me. Now is the Count Rousillon a widower, his vows are forfeited me, and my honors paid to him. He stole from Florence, taking no leave, and I follow him to his country for justice. Grant it me, O king. In you at best lies, otherwise a seducer flourishes, and a poor maid is undone. Diana Capulet.
I'll buy me a son-in-law in a fair, and toll for this, I'll none of him.
The fortunes have thought well in leave with you to bring forth this discovery. Seek these suitors, go speedily, and bring again the Count. I'm afeard the life of Helen, lady, was foully snatched.
Now justice on the doers.
I wonder, sir, such wise are monsters to you, and that you fly them as you swear them lordship, yet you desire to marry. What woman is that?
I am my lord a wretched Florentine, derived from the ancient Capulet. My suitors I do understand you know, and therefore know how far I may be pitied.
I am her mother, sir, whose age and honor both suffer under this untimely reign. And both shall cease without your remedy.
Come hither, Count. Do you know these women?
My lord, I neither can nor will deny, but that I know them. Do they charge me further?
Why do you look so strange upon your wife?
She's none of mine.
If you shall marry, you give away this hand, and that is mine. You give away heaven's vows, and those are mine. You give away myself, which is known mine. For I by vow am so embodied yours, that she which marries you must marry me, either both or none.
Your reputation comes too short for my daughter. You are no husband for her.
My lord, this is a fond and desperate creature whom sometime I have laughed with. Let your highness lay more noble thought upon mine honor than to think I would sink it here.
Sir, for my thoughts you have them ill to friend, to your deeds gain them. Fair prove your honor that in my thoughts it lies.
Good, my lord. Ask him upon his oath if he does think he had not my virginity.
What sayst thou to her?
She's impudent, my lord, and was a common gamester to the camp.
If I were so, he might have bought me at a common price. Do not believe him. Oh, behold this ring, whose high respect and rich validity did lack a parallel. Yet for all that, he gave it to a commoner of the camp, if I be one.
He blushes and 'tis hit. That gem of 6 preceding ancestors, conferred by testament to the sequent issue, hath it been owed and worn. This is his wife. The ring's 1,000 proofs.
Methought you said you saw one here in court to witness it.
I did, but loath am I to produce so bad an instrument. His name's Paroles.
I saw the man today, if man he be.
Find him and bring him hither.
What of him? He's quoted for a most perfidious slave, with all the spots in the world taxed and debauched, whose nature sickens but to speak a truth. Am I, or that, or this, for what he'll utter? That will speak anything?
She hath that ring of yours.
I think she has. Certain as I liked her, and boarded her, in the wanton way of youth. she knew her distance, and did angle from me, maddening my eagerness with her restraint, as all impediments in fancy's course are motives of more fancy. And in fine, her infinite cunning with her modern grace subdued me to her rate. She got the ring, and I got that which any inferior might at market price have bought.
Speak.
I have spoke the truth.
Thou lies. What do you have to say to him?
I must be patient. You that have turned off a first so noble wife may justly die at me. I pray you yet. Since you lack virtue, I will lose a husband. Send for your ring. I will return it home. And give me mine again.
My lord, I do confess the ring was hers.
You boggle shrewdly, every feather starts you. Is this the man you speak of?
Aye, my lord.
Tell me, sirrah, but tell me true, not fearing the displeasure of your masters, which, upon your just proceeding, I'll keep off. By him and by this woman here, what know you?
So please your majesty, my master hath been an honorable gentleman. Tricks he hath had in him, which gentlemen have.
Come to the purpose. Did he love this woman?
Faith, sir, he did love her, but how?
How, I pray you?
He loved her, sir, as a gentleman loves a woman.
How is that?
He loved her, and he loved her not.
As thou art a knave and no knave, what an equivocal companion is this?
I am a poor man, and at your majesty's command.
Speak.
Yes, so please your majesty, I did go between them as I said, but more than that, he did love her, for he was mad for her, and he spoke of Satan, and of limbo, and of furies, and I know not what. Yet I was in that credit with them at that time, that I knew of their going to bed, and of other motions, as promising her marriage, and that which would drive me ill will to speak of. Therefore I will not speak what I know.
But wilt thou not speak all thou knowest? Stand aside. This ring, you say, was yours. Did you say that?
Aye, my good lord.
Where did you find it, or who gave it to you?
It was not given me, nor did I find it.
Where did you buy it, then?
It was not bought. I did not buy it, neither.
Where did you find it?
I found it not.
If it were yours by none of all these ways, how did you give it to him?
I never gave it him.
This woman's an easy glove, my lord. She goes off and on at pleasure.
This ring was mine. I gave it to his first wife.
It might be yours or hers for aught I know.
Take her away! I do not like her now. To prison with her, and away with him! Unless thou sayest where thou hast this ring, thou diest within the hour.
I'll never tell you.
Take her away!
I'll put in bail, my liege.
I think thee now some common customer.
By Jove, if ever I knew a man, 'twas you.
Wherefore hast thou accused him all this while?
Because he's guilty, and he's not guilty. He knows I'm no maid, and he'll swear to it. I'll swear I'm a maid, and he knows not. Great king, I am no strumpet, by my life. I'm either maid or else this old man's wife.
She does abuse our ears. To prison with her!
Good mother, fetch my bail. Stay, royal sir. The jeweler that owes the ring is sent for, and he shall surety me. But for this lord who hath abused me, though yet he never harmed me, here I quit him. He knows himself my bed he hath defiled, and at that time he got his wife with child. Dead though she be, she feels her young one kick. So there's my riddle, one that's dead is quick. And now behold the meaning.
Is there no exorcist because the truer office of mine eyes? Is't real that I see?
No, my good lord, 'tis but the shadow of a wife you see, the name and not the thing.
Both. Oh, pardon.
My dear lord, when I was like this maid, I found you wondrous kind. There is your ring, and look you, here's your letter. This it says, when from my finger you can get this ring, and are by me with child. This is done. Will you be mine, now you are doubly won?
If she, my liege, can make me know this clearly, I'll love her dearly, ever, dearly.
gonna prove untrue, deadly divorce step between me and you. Oh, my dear mother, do I see you living?
I shall weep anon. Mine eyes smell onions. Good Lord. Lend me your handkerchief. So I think. Wait on me home, I'll make sport with thee. Let thy curtsies alone, they are scurvy ones.
Let us from point to point the story know to make the even truth and pleasure flow. If thou beest yet a fresh and cropping flower, choose thou thy husband and all pay thy dower. For I can guess that by thy honest aid, thy kept a wife herself, thyself a maid. Of that and all the progress, more and less resolvedly more leisure shall express. All yet seem as well, and if ends so meet, the bitter past more welcome is the sweet. The king's a beggar, now the play is done. All's well ended if this suit be won, that you express content, which we will pay with strife to please you, day exceeding day. Ours be your patience, and yours our parts. Your gentle hands lend us, and take our hearts.